make these boys go back and do some real homework.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Make them show their work. You had to show your work in elementary when you did your math problem. Show your work.
Come on.
The worst thing you can do is tell on yourself.
Exactly. My uncle always said, Larry, me ain't never told on I.
Prison Stories 101. This is Prison Stories Day Room. We are back with another special episode. I believe when I have a situation like this come about, we're trying to thread some new water here, break some new ground. Of course, in normal day rooms, we normally have inmate talking to inmates, like they would do in a day room. And maybe we should call this, what they do when attorney speaks to a client? Is that consultation? What is it?
Attorney visits.
Attorney visits, yeah. Maybe I call this Prison Stories Attorney Visits. So you could break down what happened. But allow both y'all to introduce yourself. As y'all can see, Ice Gizzle's back. If you don't mind, Gizzle, reintroduce yourself. Let them know how much time you served. I know you done fed in state times and it's kind of spread all around.
I've done multiple times in state. I've done... Where's that? Larry gets about, I opened that up, probably 2 years there. I've done 5 years in TDC off in Eastham. I've done several other years bouncing in between other units and stuff. I've done 12 in the feds, Pollock and out there in Florida, Coleman 2, Coleman 1 and 2.
Okay. All right. And we have attorney Larry Taylor here with, of course, the Cochran Law Firm. If you don't mind, introduce yourself. Let them know how many years of service you put in as an attorney. And I know you have done criminal, but also you're onto civil as well. But if you don't mind, give them a little bit of your background.
So once again, I'm Larry F. Taylor Jr., managing partner of the Cochran firm. I manage Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico. I manage all our practice areas from employment to criminal to civil to mass tort litigation and our environmental practice and class action. As far as how long I've been doing this, man, sometimes I forget and sometimes I just don't want to say. But let's just say I've been doing it longer than 15 years.
Let's just say. Longer than some of y'all probably been alive. That's a long time. That is, it's funny because they call it practice, and that's well beyond practice. You're in the game, coach. Okay. This conversation, I want to, of course, have the dialect between attorney and, of course, technically convict. We don't have enough dialogue to where we speak on the psychology of the attorney and the psychology of the inmate. Let's start with this. Let me just start with the question. And I'll start with Gizzle as far as from the convict side. Do you respect Larry Taylor's job, his position, what he does in the world of criminality?
I respect him because he does what needs to be done, and he's just not out for a paycheck.
And let me ask this, Larry: are you defense, prosecution? Which
I've done both.
You've done both.
I've done both. I've done both. Can I say this?
Please.
I am not a fan of the term convict.
Okay, yeah. What term should we use?
His name.
But he got a number though. They gave him a number.
You have a social security number.
Yeah, I know. I don't go by my social security number. You're right.
I mean, you are we don't run around calling people citizen. Hey, citizen.
That's right.
You're a citizen of the United States. Hey, citizen. Right? They give you a number when you leave the hospital if your parents fill out the paperwork. This man is ICE. That's his name. That's the name that he wants to be called. That's the name that he prefers to be called. And that's the name that we should call him.
Yes.
We should not, I just have not been a big fan because, and we'll get into this, but my former pastor, went to prison. And he had this program called Living Beyond X. And his thing was what we call people will associate with who they are.
True.
And Ice is a grown ass man.
That is true.
And I don't have those words in my vocabulary.
Yeah, so what term, outside of ICE, of course that is Gizzle, once a person does get convicted and is guilty of, let's say, said crime and goes into ownership of the state, what phrase do you use when you speak on
ICE? ICE, who's currently incarcerated.
Okay. All right. I like that. I
use currently.
Yeah. So we'll use that then as far as the formerly incarcerated and the current working attorney. So you've done both defense and prosecution. And before I get back to the question, Ice, Larry, let me just jump over to you as far as what did you have success in, and what did you, morally, what did you feel that you were vindicated in doing as far as defense or prosecution?
Man, I not to be arrogant, but I think God has really blessed me to listen, right? Listen to the words that come from a man's mouth, watch his body language, and to assess the situation. And to the sense, when I was a prosecutor, if the police officer brought a case before me and it didn't jail, and I went and investigated myself and found certain things not to be credible, I had no problem dismissing that case. Because I am law enforcement. I'm not punisher. I'm not send them to jail. Just because someone accused you of something and you fit somebody's stereotype or you check some boxes on what a criminal is supposed to look like or act like or be from, I'm not doing it. And so, and as a defense attorney, I think I only had maybe 2 people go to jail, and they were looking at 20, and they ended up getting 5.
That's a win.
That's a win.
And so, and usually by the time we finish doing what we're doing, whether we take it to trial or not, they were going home in about 9 months. Okay. Right. And so, I just, and having visited prisons and spoken at prisons, man, that's not anywhere a man should be.
Okay. I'm going to come back to the visitation, but Ice, let me go ahead and come back to the question. Thank you for that, Larry. What are your thoughts on the job of an attorney as far as having technically the same, what a judge has as far as being able to judge you and sentence you to a certain amount of time? An attorney has the ability to save your life or, fail in this test and, send you up. What are your thoughts on just the attorney position in life?
When I was coming up, it was always said that the lawyer you choose is the very person that's supposed to save your life. That's what I was brought up to believe. But as I went on, and they say knowledge is king. You know what I'm saying? I had no knowledge of the law, more or less the person that was being chose to represent me. So I got screwed every time. You have lawyers that'll go in there and depending on how much you're paying them, they're just gonna do the bare minimum. And like he just said, you have to respect the man if he say something don't feel right. Something don't look right with this. So I'm gonna go back and do my own research, my own, do my own work. And then I'm gonna determine from there whether you're guilty or not. And a lot of them don't do that. They're there for the paycheck.
Is that true? Do you know some practicing attorneys that are really in it for the paycheck?
Yeah. It's a number game, right? It's a number game. When I did defense work, I would have people come and pay me large sums of money in order to take care of things. The average attorney, it might take them a couple of months, right? A couple of court visits. Most of the time, it took me an hour, right? Get in, talk to the prosecutor, because at that point, I've done my homework. I am the most knowledgeable person about this case, right? I can tell you what your officer had for lunch before he arrested my client. And so when you sit down with someone and you have that type of knowledge and you can explain to them where they are, I mean, there have been times, going back to the original question, I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
I like your tangents.
But there are attorneys who play the number game and say to themselves, if I can get 10 clients through the court appointed, and I can plea all of them within a week, I'm going to make X amount of dollars a year. And I just never could do that. I couldn't do it. And quite honestly, some of my most difficult cases were pro bono cases that I took. You know, it was like the old days, right? Somebody gave me an apple pie and somebody mama baked me some chicken and some green beans and brought it to the office and said, we ain't got no money, but we can feed you. And those were some of my most difficult cases. Or I have some pastor call me up and, you know, put God on me and like, Larry, you know, God wants you to do this. I was like, come on, man. And I end up doing it, right? But doing it for the money is weak sauce. It really is. Because what people don't realize is every time we represent someone like ICE, we're defending the Constitution. Right or wrong, and I've never looked at it as guilty or innocence. Always looked at it as, do they have enough under the law? Because when you start getting into guilt and innocence, then subconsciously, if you believe your client is guilty, then you will work toward representing a guilty person that will eventually be found guilty. Your mind is a powerful thing. I always looked at it as, do they have what they need under the law? What's your evidence?
So you look at it not as the actual event or the incident, but the law. You look at it from a law standpoint.
The law, man.
Okay.
I am a strict constitutionalist. I'm a strict rule-based individual, right? Like even if I do something that's, hell, if I'm speeding, I consciously have said to myself, I know that's not right. I'm doing it. I understand the consequences that come with doing that. I just look at everything in that framework, but I look at it based on the rules that have been set forth.
So let me ask this, just I know there's a code to the streets as far as, right, you know, not snitching, things of that nature that, you know,
it used to be a code.
It used to be a code. Is there a code amongst attorneys, like help, you know, if you get the retainer, you have to help this man. You can't just shoe in this case. Is there like a unspoken? Oh, okay.
Nah, bro. No. I think I've talked about this on another podcast, and I said, you know, just like basketball, everybody can play, right? You got some who play at the park, you got some who played at high school, you got some who played at junior college, you got some who played in college, you got some who were undrafted, some were drafted into the pros, you got some who sit the bench, and you got some who are Hall of Famers. Everybody has levels, and there are levels to lawyers. And you're going to have lawyers who won't read your case, who will take your money, and they will let the prosecutor tell them who your client is.
I've had it happen.
And I'm like, nah, bro, that ain't my dude. I sat down with his mama. I'll sit down with my client's moms.
That's real.
I'll sit down with your mama and be like, look, I need to know about your baby boy or your baby girl. What am I dealing with? Right? Well, who is this person? because I'm about to go in here and I have to explain why they should not go to prison. Help me do that, right? And if they get in there and say, I don't like them myself, I was like, whew, this is going to be a tough one, right? But once again, it goes back to do they have enough under the law?
So I will ask, you said you did pro bono work. And again, this is a conversation I want to have with y'all both. But I want to know, when it comes to court-appointed lawyer versus a paid attorney, what is the mentality? First, and I'll start with you, Gizzle, as I want you to speak on it. How do you look at a court-appointed attorney versus your paid attorney that you actually put money in his hand to represent you? But I hear it goes different ways with the feds and different ways with the states as far as mentally of what those are.
Well, first of all, you ain't finna find too many Fed cases where you're gonna need a lawyer, because it's a waste of time. That big orange book, it ain't no getting past that. You got to have a fire attorney to get past all that, or you're gonna tell them what they want to know. You're gonna make a couple of cakes for them and be a target. Simple as that. The way I feel about court-appointed attorneys, I've actually met some, they didn't represent me, but other inmates that I knew, you know what I'm saying, actually got off with an attorney that went pro bono, and they went the mile. They went beyond the mile to make sure that person went home. But then there's a lot of them I knew, especially ones that I dealt with. No good. I watched a man, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson was in and out of prison all his life. He was almost 60 at the time. The man got caught with a $10 rock on a routine traffic stop. They took him to jail. Now, Mr. Johnson could not read nor write. He had no education at all. They gave him a court-appointed attorney, and this man swore that he was going to get that man home. He made that man sign for a life sentence, and he didn't even know what he was signing for.
Man, all right. Let me flip it over to you, Larry. As far as, you've done pro bono work, the mentality to go in as a pro bono attorney, how do they get paid? I'm just curious as far as by the courts.
So let me say this: pro bono means you don't get paid at all. That's pro bono. Court appointed means that the state appoints you, and they usually appoint you, and you have to log your hours and your expenses of what you did, and then you submit that to the court, and then the state or the government pays you back, right, for your time and your effort in that case, usually at the conclusion of that case. That's why they move so quickly on those cases, because a lot of times they're not paid until the very end. And so it's a catch-22, right? So if I didn't pay you and I paid you every month, if I'm an attorney, I'm like, well, I'm going to milk this one case for a year, 2 years, right? I'm going to get paid every month. I know how much money I'm going to make because this is how much time I'm going to put into it every month. So the state or the government's like, nah, we're not paying you to the end. Well, I'm not going to work a whole year on a case and not get paid, and I don't put all this time in because my bills are still out there. Yeah. And so, you have this what comes first, chicken or the egg situation. And so you have a lot of attorneys, like I said before, they look at how many cases they can get appointed to, and then that way they can go ahead and assess how much money they're going to make a month or how much money they're going to make a year. When I did pro bono cases, like I said before, it was usually because I believed in. There was a time when I did more criminal work, and I would have judges call me up and like, hey, Larry, I got this one lawyer on this case, and something don't smell right. I don't feel right about it. I need to appoint you to this case and let you come check it out. And sure enough, I get in there, get to sniffing around, looking. I was like, hold on, what? Wait a minute, huh? He was the sixth person in a vehicle on a 3-row SUV, and he was sitting in the very back, and they charged him with the joint. Like, nah, man, come on, man. You charge 7 people with one joint. I mean, everybody ain't gonna get a hit off that. So how you gonna charge my man with this? And they just so happened he was the cousin of one of the people in the car, and they just picked him up because their mama couldn't pick him up from school, and he just got out of school.
Oh man.
So I'm like, nah, bro, we're not taking this. We're not doing this.
So, hold on, let me ask, because that brings up a question. How does the prosecution get paid when it's the state versus Ice Gizzle, Nathaniel Wade? How does the prosecution get paid at the end? Or
you ever heard of Solomon in the Bible? Yes. What did they say about Solomon? Solomon was the richest man in the world, right? A prosecutor, when he was prosecuting the case, is the richest man in the world because he has all the resources of the state of Texas. He can spend as much money as he wants to come and lock your behind up. He can get experts. He can get this. He can call on anybody within that realm of prosecution in order to prosecute his case to send you to prison.
So it sounds like all kids should strive to be prosecutors.
You know what, man? I wouldn't mind it. I'll tell you, I wouldn't mind that if they were fair prosecutors and truly believed in prosecuting and following the law. Because what happens is you have a symbiotic relationship, which is you have a relationship that's dependent on each other. And it's kind of like two animals in the wild, right? You ever see those fish that swim by the sharks? Mm-hmm. Right? So the sharks are the law enforcement. When they grab somebody and tear through them and shake them loose and the pieces of them are flying all over the water, the prosecutors are the ones nibbling up at the pieces. If the prosecutors don't clean the algae and all the stuff that's on the shark and the shark's not around, it has no purpose. The shark needs the little fish because they eat all of the bacteria and stuff that's on the shark along with whatever the residues in the water. And so they need each other. That's the relationship between a law enforcement officer and a prosecutor, is that the two work tandemly. And so if the prosecutor, I would piss off police officers off. They would tell me, oh, since you dismissed my case, you can dismiss all the cases I had with you because I'm not coming to court. I'm like, dude, why are you taking it so personal? If they are truly a bad person, they'll do something again. This time, follow the law.
Come on. So, Gizzle, let me ask you. Oh, no, please, speak up.
So, I'm going to bring up the first time I ever went to jail, right? And it was for a gun charge. I had just come to Texas from New Orleans, and my mama sent me out there to pretty much get away from what was going on in New Orleans. Because, you know, we had the highest murder rate in the country, like every year. It was bad, Gunsmoke City. So it's like you into too much around bad people, go. And I didn't even know who my sperm donor was. I'm not going to say father, I'm going to say sperm donor. Didn't know who he was. So when I did come up here to meet him and stuff, it was just like, we ain't passing. You know what I'm saying? We didn't click. You know what I'm saying? So I'm there. I'm out here 2 weeks. 2 weeks in Texas. And he says, well, you need to go outside and deal with some youngsters your age and stuff and get out of this house. I don't know nobody. So he calls up somebody and say, tell David Crockett and such and such and such and such come through here and stuff and pick him up so he can go out and see what the east side is like. So they had a party that night. So they picked me up in the Cadillac, one of them big long banana boat Cadillacs, you know, and we 6 deep. I'm in the back seat in the middle. I don't know nobody in this car. Nobody. But I'm going to this party. Cool. So they apparently been drinking already before the party started. Collin County.
Jesus.
McKinney PD. Pull us over on the east side. I ain't tripping. I ain't done nothing. So I'm just hanging out. So they get to questioning the driver. The driver is talking smack. He's drunk. So he said, do I smell alcohol? He said, man, get out of the car. Pull him out the car, set him on the curb, and they do the breathalyzer thing. Then they talk to him, this and that. So then they say, probable cause. Everybody exit the vehicle. Okay, I'm still not tripping. They sit us separately on the curb, handcuff us, boom, we sitting up. They tear the car up, come out with not one, 2 pistols. So I'm just sitting there, minding my business. This ain't my fight. So I thought. So police is coming by, taking statements. Do this belong to you? Do this belong to you? No. It don't belong to nobody. So he goes back over to the driver, and he's going off, and then he said, go ask that bad mother from New Orleans. What you asking me for? So my ears stand up like a pit bull. Police come to me and say, do these weapons belong to you? I say, no, sir. They say, well, who they for? I don't know. So at this point, I think we all going to jail. Nope, just me. They stuck both guns on me.
Did you have a record?
At that point, I had one prior incident in Louisiana.
What was it?
It was a gun charge.
That's all they needed.
It was a gun charge. My brother had got jumped by some guys up the street, whoever they was and stuff. And I couldn't fight at the time, and I was younger. I ain't had no hands. I'm going to be honest. So I did what I knew best. I went to that shoebox, got a 38 special, and I popped at them. So that was my first issue with that. But coming down here, I had no record, I had no nothing. So I'm like, so now I'm looking like a crackhead. My eyes was bulging out, and I'm like, that's not mine. And it's like, well, you better start talking. I'm not built like that. So I'm, all right, man, whatever. So like a dummy, I didn't say nothing. And I went to jail for 2 weapons that did not belong to me.
So can I ask this from an attorney perspective? When you go into assisting the formerly incarcerated, do you look at the record? And does that record judge how you are going to handle this case or handle that client?
Yeah. I mean, because, he told a very compelling story, right? Not his guns, just came in from out of town. What's the first question I ask him? Did you have priors? Same thing I tell everybody on every podcast. You get busted for one thing. If you get caught right now, I don't know what camera's on me, but I'm looking at all of them. If you get caught with a weed or any drug and you just receive a ticket, not even go to jail, if you receive a ticket, every time you get pulled over, they're going to check the car for that substance.
Wow.
And that's true.
Every time.
So a gun charge, they would know like he might have a gun on him.
Well, watch this. If I go to this is the thing. If I go to a jury on a new gun charge and he says the gun's on mine, I just got in town. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, Mr. Ice has told you that that's not his guns. And I've presented to you 5 other individuals who were in that car who had no criminal history. The likelihood of one of them carrying a gun compared to Mr. Ice, who not only carried a gun, but fired in a public place, endangering many people in the community. And he tells you it's not his. Is he truthful now? Did he admit that he had the gun then? Or did they have to go through the process? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'll leave that to you to decide. But my money on is Mr. Ice was carrying 2 guns because he couldn't afford 2 chains.
History repeats itself.
Exactly. Jeez. Exactly. Dude, what are they? They have 1,000,001 saying. A zebra doesn't change its stripes. polka dots, leopards, stripes, dots. It doesn't matter. If you've done anything, if you remotely are close to being around that again, it's yours.
Yeah. And he's right. He's speaking gold right there, because I got 5 years deferred adjudicated. I pled guilty on it because I didn't know what else to do, because if I would have snitched, then I got to face the streets when I do get out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, nah, I ain't built like that. So I'm, yeah, all right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So deferred adjudicated, signed off on it, boom. Every time I got in the car, every time somebody got pulled over and I was in the car with him, I was the main suspect.
You looked the part.
And you know what's crazy about that? There's a gang file on me.
As a gang or as an attorney?
No, as a gang member.
Oh, really?
At the age of 17.
You're Houston. I forgot. Yeah, you're Houston.
Yeah. Many of you guys are finna laugh. It's not funny, but it's funny. So, Ice, I'm coming back. I'm a scholarship athlete at Texas A&M. I run track. I'm coming back from College Station. I'm coming home, driving through Houston, driving through my own neighborhood, right? We were the second house built in this neighborhood. And so this officer pulls me over, looks at me, asks me to get out the car, and then goes back to his car and grabs a Polaroid camera.
Yeah.
And starts taking pictures of me. I said, man, what are you doing? He said, I'm taking pictures because you're in a gang. I said, in a gang? I said, dude, my neighborhood doesn't have gangs. And what gang am I associated with? He said, you one of the Aggies. I said, bro, please make me a Blood or a Crip, because if you put me in a holding cell and label me an Aggie, they gonna laugh and whoop my ass. I said, bro, don't do me like that. I'd rather for you to put me in jail under unassociated murder than to throw me in the jail named after a college in College Station, man. Don't do me like that, man.
Aggravators.
Yeah. Make me something, man. Make me something other than that. The Enforcers. Give me something good. The Aggies. I said, man, you finna get me killed. So, but no, man, it is sad to say that once you have committed something and done something,
just once,
they won't leave. Now, I will tell you, if I was representing ICE at the time, I'd be like, Judge, the officer seems so sure, right? It's his guns. Did he place the guns? Officer, how'd the guns get there? Well, he put the guns in there. He placed the guns in there. Do you think he knew you was going to stop him that day? No, he wouldn't have. I mean, he pretty sure thought he was going to get away with it, but the law comes and get him. I said, well, then let's play a game of chicken. For dismissal or conviction. Straight conviction, straight dismissal. Do a DNA test on the gun. And if my man DNA is on there, we'll take this conviction and we'll ride this on out. But if you ain't got a fingerprint or DNA, man, get the hell out my man's face and get us up out of here. Let's do it. I can't tell you how many times I did it as a prosecutor. I'm so crazy, I told him, let's flip a coin.
Yeah. You believe in it that much?
Yeah, let's do it.
But I had a court appointed who just really wanted to get it over with. He had a golf game to get to.
That check.
Do the attorneys be like commingling? The prosecutors, the defense, they go to lunch together. They always hear that like, oh, they're all just, how your case going? They talking about the case outside of the courtrooms. They just all with each other.
My court appointed lawyer was the son of the very judge that sentenced me.
Okay, first of all, we need to take a look at that because we might need to get that overturned because he's not even supposed to practice in that court. My wife's a judge and I cannot practice in her court. He was not supposed to be practicing in his father's court. That's a problem. That's a problem in itself. And that's something that could be appealed. and could very well affect your entire record, because I'm pretty sure when you went to the feds, they used that conviction against you for points in the time that you were there. And
they used everything I ever did.
Yeah. And they could, and that's something that could be, hey, look, let me just say this too, man. This is not an interview for you to hire me in your criminal case, because I you can call me, but chances of me taking it are slim to absolutely not. We do have criminal attorneys in our office. I do oversee them, but as far as me actually working the case, I'm just too stretched already. But nah, man, you literally have, if that's absolutely true, that's a conviction that could potentially be overturned.
Well, to answer the question in regards, do the attorneys be commingling?
Yeah. I mean, just on the way over here.
Oh, you met with a couple attorneys?
Just look, man, just on the way over here, I had a civil rights case, and I actually worked with the prosecutor. I had a good relationship with the prosecutor.
No.
So the officers that did the crime got indicted.
So, Ice, you hear that? These lawyers, these attorneys do be talking with each other.
Well, you know what? That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing.
Because there are a lot of plea deal conversations that has to happen outside of court. To where, is it phone calls? Is it meetings in office? Do y'all meet up for lunch to talk pleas?
All of the above. Matter of fact, I was on another podcast with a young woman who kept getting arrested because she had her name was the same as a white female. The white female actually committed the crime, but they kept arresting the black female, right? They didn't even know each other. They just had the same names, like Ashley White, right? And so the officers kept harassing this young black girl, but because I knew the prosecutor, so I told the story in the sense that she was arrested. She had been in jail almost a year, had just had a baby. Her baby was about to be one. She got arrested days after having this child. And so because I knew the prosecutor, I went in the prosecutor, kind of did what I said. Hey, man, send my client's picture to your victim. And if your victim says that my client stabbed him, we'll take this conviction and we'll plea it tomorrow. And he like, sure, Larry. Man, that brother called me and I was at lunch with a judge. And I picked up the phone when I saw his name come up, and all he was just a cussing. Get your ass to this courthouse, Larry, right now. I got the judge here, and get your ass down here. I was like, hey, whoa, slow your roll. What's going on? Damn it, your client didn't do it, and they've been in jail almost a year. And then I was like, I said it took
put a rush on it.
It took 3 attorneys. She had 2 other attorneys besides me that worked this case. I said it took me to get on this case for you to finally do some investigation to find out my person didn't do it. I said, I'll be down there in a minute.
Man, Gizzle, let me ask you, when you get into an interrogation room, they give you Miranda rights. Or when they arrest you, they give you Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent.
Yeah.
You have the right to an attorney. Mm-hmm. And anything you say will be used against you. A lot of people, especially when you're young committing crimes, you seem to want to talk your way out of the crime, like why you didn't do it. It's only when you get older you learn to not say nothing, that they really can use everything. It's really anything you're saying is not going to help you. Mm-mm. It's going to hurt you. So I want to get your take first on the Miranda rights itself, and how do you look at, when a cop is questioning you, what are the rules to go by? Then I'll go with Larry.
I mean, first of all, it's self-explanatory. The Miranda rights is telling you exactly what the gospel is. Anything you speak will cut your legs off. Simple as that. And we as individuals, when our heart pumping, you scared and you did this and that, all you want to do is try to talk your way up out of something. You know what I'm saying? And talking to get you in more trouble than a little bit. That's why they say, wait for your attorney. Don't say nothing. You don't owe nobody nothing. And they're telling you, all right, you got a right to an attorney. You don't have to say anything. And you shouldn't.
Larry, what advice would you give, your client that, let's say, does have you on retainer, and let's say he really didn't do it, literally, you see someone get pulled over, and the mistakes really got a mistaken identity. The cops really have a mistaken identity. They really got it wrong. Should he even speak? Because he knows, literally, I did nothing and I got pulled over and arrested for a mistake. But go ahead.
So I tell all my clients this. It's a thing called excited utterance that can be used against you. And so that is when something news that is brought to you, such as committing a crime, your silence, or your protest for innocence can be used against you. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, as a prosecutor, when the officers walked up to him and said, "Hey, we think you murdered so-and-so," he said nothing. Would an innocent man say nothing?
No.
See what I'm saying? And so I tell all my clients, say this: I ain't do it, and I'm sleeping. Put your head down and go to sleep until I get there.
There you go. That's right.
Because if you get to talking, man, 9 times out of 10, most of you guys watch these shows, right? I used to watch them, but it just got to be, when you get to see some of your cases on there, it get to be a problem, right? Because I don't want to watch it and live it. And so they don't really have anything. They really don't know if you were there. You didn't have a cell phone on you that day. They don't have video of you there. They just have the word of somebody that you were there. And they ask you a question. You're like, man, look, man, I saw that fool. I ain't do nothing. Okay, so we can put you there by your own words.
True.
See, it depends on the evidence.
Yeah, because once you say you weren't there, and the next question will be, well, where were you at? And if that, let's say, I'm trying to hide from my wife or something, I don't want to tell you where I was at. Now, just because, you were there, but because you're about to play into this world of trying to answer wrongly, it can hit you. Like, what if, somebody might have a stuttering problem? I'm like, will they use stuttering, as a form of, he's lying?
Nah, it just, look, the human psyche of a jury member is crazy, right? Somebody could very well say, my cousin Jack, he always talked normal. Unless he was lying, then he started stuttering, right? They take all these things into question or bring them to the court. And that's one of the reasons why we ask the questions that we ask during voir dire, and to try to eliminate those type of individuals from being on the jury. But, man, I didn't do it, and go to sleep. Because if they're going to arrest you, let them arrest you. Go through the process, and then we will have a hearing, a probable cause hearing, to see if they even have enough to arrest you. Let me flush out what they got. How do you put them here? So-and-so. An informant? What other proof did they have? Why was he there? Does he know why he was there? He just saw him there? Did he just saw him in the area? Judge, that's not enough. Make these boys go back and do some real homework.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Make them show their work. You had to show your work in elementary when you did your math problem. Show your work.
Come on.
The worst thing you can do is tell on yourself.
Exactly. My uncle always said, Larry, me ain't never told on I.
Me ain't never told on I.
Me ain't never told on I.
Come on. Let me ask this, because you mentioned that you, of course, will meet someone's mom. Mm-hmm. As the formerly incarcerated, did you care about your attorney's personal life? What he does, who his wife is, who his children are? Did you care about the man or woman that person is outside of representing you?
No, I didn't. It wouldn't have thought in my mind, because right now I'm being selfish, because all I'm thinking about is me and how I'm going to get up out of this situation.
Do you feel a person's home life can affect how they could try your case.
Yeah, it can. Yeah. Because if he's not getting none from his wife, you know what I'm saying? Or she's not cooking and they're getting into it, they ain't spoke to each other in 5 days, the first word I'm going to get is, not right now. I'm trying to tell you something, but it's not right now. I got too many other things on my mind. I'm trying to think. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no telling what's going to come out this person's mouth. It's going to get taken out on me because, you know, not every person does this, but a lot of people come to work and wear their work on their sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Larry.
But then you got those that can separate home life and whatever going on and coming there. That's just like when I sold drugs at a time. I had nurses and lawyers that was on work, but you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it. They would call me over to their house, give me their bank card, and say, go pull this amount out, bring it back, purchase their work from me, and make me sit there until they're done. Okay. And then Monday morning, they were right back at work. You can't tell a thing. Because they separate this from that.
Larry, does the ability to separate your normal life versus going to work, is it hard to cut off, like where you could cut? Do you take work home with you? And do most attorneys, live in the world of, I go to work 9 to 5 o'clock and I go home, turn it off? Or do you live with the cases?
I'm probably the worst lawyer to ask that question to because I'm not really normal. I'm not.
He lives with the work. He is the work.
I'm not normal in the sense that I compartmentalize my life and respect all of the different departments. Right. So, baby, just to let you know, I'm letting everybody know I actually do most of the cooking, half of the 29 years I've been married. And so her not cooking is not going to upset me. But I don't know, just at an early age and being an athlete, I learned to turn off the noise of my personal life to be able to handle my job. Right. Like I've been through a breakup hours before a football game, and I didn't let that channel anger. It didn't affect me.
It might have helped you. I don't know.
No, it didn't. I went because I always understood that I have a job to do. And if I depend on something as an enhancement in order to make me play better, that same thing can also make me play bad. And so as your lawyer, I'm not trying to let anything affect what I got to do for you at that moment. Your time is your time. I'm icing out. See, I say I did that. I'm icing out that section because this is ice. These next 2 hours, this is what I got to deal with. This is who is depending on me. When I finish with that, then I'll get back into my personal life for that other part. But like I said, man, I'm not normal when it comes to that. And sometimes people say, well, you're not feeling. No, I have feelings. I care, right? But I got a job to do.
With that being said, I want to be respectful of time. Last question I have is, we talked about this previously, but when it comes to taking the plea deal, I think earlier you had mentioned he had said 20, opted for 5, and you were like, that's a good deal.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
And I'll start with you, Gizzle, and I'll end with you, Larry. When it comes to a lawyer working a plea deal for you and that you're paying this lawyer, do you feel that technically them getting what you considered a good offer is them doing their job for you?
Yeah,
if it was offered to them immediately and he didn't try to do nothing else except take the first deal.
I'm paying you to get me off. Right. And if it comes to a point where you can't get me off, I'm paying you to get me something I can do.
So it's the conversation of what can you do? Okay.
Yeah, because if they saying 25, that's basically life. I can't do that. I'm gonna need you to go in there and work some magic for me.
Okay.
So if you come back with 5, shoot, I'm gonna have a party.
you feel money well spent.
Money well spent.
Okay. On the flip side, as an attorney, they have you on retainer. Your job is to get your client off. Do you enjoy going to court, or do you enjoy the argument and the war of pleading to try to get the best case, to avoid all the court stuff, to avoid, hey, let's just, like he's saying, he could do 5. You feel he's innocent. Like, I get you off, but he could do 5. He's paying you. What do you lean as far as, I'm going to get you to 5 and we'll just call it a day. Let's not go to court.
No, I don't do that.
Okay.
I don't do that.
Talk to me.
Yeah, nah, bro. Nah, I'm not doing that. I mean, if I can go in there and his initial offer was 20, and I go in there and right off the muscle they say 5, and I look at the evidence and see he didn't do it. Nah, I'm not just finna lay down just because it's easy and I can walk out of there with some bread, right? I'm not doing that. That's not how I'm built.
That's right.
And like I said, man, I'm probably the worst attorney to have on this portion of it.
You might be the best. They might need to hear this.
Best, because you're being honest.
Yeah.
Everybody don't take their work serious. And I learned that just because you go to college and you learn some things don't mean you're going to apply it to your heart. You know what I'm saying? It's different. When you apply to your heart and you use that as motivation for you to get up and do the best you can do, what more can I ask for? But when you know you got all the cards, you got all the judge in your pocket, you got such in your pocket, this, that, and the third, you got favors coming, and you know I ain't do it, and you just still like, hey, man, get you 10, man, get you 20, sign off, man.
No, I'm not.
You're not the best candidate for me. No,
little brother, I am 100%. And I do this every meeting, every Sunday. I meet with my entire family. All of my kids are adults, right? My youngest is like 25. Every Sunday we sit down and as a family, what did you accomplish this week? What do you got going on? What are you trying to get done? And we sit down and we say, okay, how can we help you as a family get there? What do we need to do? Who do we need to call? Do you need us? Like if you got paperwork you need done, okay, who got time to do the paperwork, right? Who got a couple hours? And the sister might be like, I can take off early and take care of it. All right, cool. Little brother say, well, I can drive it up there, right? Everybody works as a unit because I've told and preached this. Man, I'm not the smartest person in the room. I tell people all the time, I'm not the smartest. But you damn sure gonna be fine. You're gonna damn sure have a hard time finding somebody who's gonna work harder and spend more time really understanding all aspects of what I'm getting into, right? As a track athlete, I threw the shot and discus. I was never the biggest. I'm not 6'6", 300 pounds. But I always finished in the top 5 because I spent time understanding my craft and pushing myself to be the best that I can be. And so that's why I said equating what I do to sports. Dude, I'm not finna go and be a lesser lawyer because it's easy and I want to go home early that Friday. That's just not how I'm built.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that whenever I finish, I can say, I did what I could on that, or I did that, right?
Yeah.
And so, because it's somebody's life at stake. This man has spent more than almost 20 years of his life with somebody else telling him when he should get up in the morning, when he should eat, when he can wash his clothes, when he can take a shower, what he should wear, right? Rubber shoes. That ain't anything that you should just take lightly and just be like, man, he did it. You know what I'm saying? He know what he was getting into. No, the law must still be the damn law.
Yeah. Let me ask this, and then we'll close out with this. How quickly does the case leave you as far as the formerly convicted? Do you think about the attorney after, whether innocent or guilty? How much time do you spend thinking about, the person that represented you? And on the flip side, do you think about the client? How much time do you, until you move on to your next case, how much time do you put into it? Gizzle, I'll start with you.
It depends, because some lawyers are actually, like you say, go visit your mother, get a message out. Because some, you can call a lawyer and say, hey, man, I can't use the phone. We all locked down, this, and that. We're going to be locked down for the next 90 days. Can you do this for me? Can you tell my mom this? Or can you do this and that? They'll be like, that's not my job. Don't call me for that. But when you have a lawyer that'll go the mile to do that for you, and he comes to see you regularly, pull you out and talk to you, and he's not just worried about the case, he's worried about your mental health and things of that nature and wondering what he can do, then yeah, you start forming a bond with that person. So yeah, you think about him and this and that. When you get out, you probably gonna go look for him.
Yeah. Some people have the lawyers I hear people having lawyers since they was 17. Like, they be 40, I got the same lawyer. I've heard stories. On the flip side, do you move beyond the client that you've had, move on to another case, or do you think about them, whether they're guilty or innocent? Like, I wonder what he's doing out there. I wonder what he's doing in there. Does it go further?
Man, I so both in my civil and my civil practice as well, every Father's Day, I probably get 60 to 80 text messages from former clients, right? Because in order for me to do a job for my client, I need to really understand who I'm representing. It's not just the facts that happened that equated why we're here today. It has a lot to do with the person that I'm actually representing. And I have 2 cases. I only felt like I took an L on 2 cases. And on both of those cases, the client would not let me further represent. I had a guy, he was a member of the armed forces. He had PTSD. They wouldn't treat him for it. So he was self-medicating with alcohol. Got a DWI. Some things happened. And he just had a need to feel like he had been punished. And he wouldn't let me help. That was one of 2 times that for 48 hours, I didn't take any calls. And I just sat and drank. Because, if you don't feel something when your client goes behind them doors and that iron door clicks and locks, if you don't feel something in the pit of your stomach, man, you need to find something else to do.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. With that being said, I want to be respectful of time again. This is the first situation we've had where we've sat down with a formerly incarcerated and an active working attorney. I want to have more of these conversations. Again, not only Larry Taylor, of course, you are representing in civil. You have done criminal. You are the real life lawyer. You could see a lot of your thoughts, your podcast in regards to going over on the Real Life Street Stars and seeing that again. And then thank you for even coming over here on this one. But I want to allow both of y'all to, of course, let people know how to follow y'all, where to see whether further content, things of that nature. Gizzle, I'll start with you.
You can reach me at Iced Up Gizzle on. I'm still trying to get to know these web things.
So many apps.
In Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. I got a Facebook now. It's at Iced Up Gizzle as well. Other than that, you can find me on Prison Stories 101 on All Working Podcasts.
Yeah, you can Google them.
Yeah.
Nice Gizzle. Larry, if you don't mind, tell them how to follow.
And you can follow us on YouTube on Tailor Made Conversations. If you type in Tailor Made Conversations, you can find us on Facebook. And like I said, YouTube. And then I'm also the Real Life Lawyer. And so you can find us under Instagram. And I'm saying us like I'm more than one person.
Yeah, I'm like, who are we going to see?
Yeah. But no, you
come with a team though.
Yeah, Real Life Lawyer and Tailor Made Conversations. Those are, and then you can always go to the website if you need an attorney and find us under tailormadelaw.com.
Thank you. I definitely want to say this. I want to appreciate you guys. Normally, a conversation like this could go on for hours. I had hours of conversation, but again, I want to be respectful. Plus, this is the first episode. I want to see if people even want to watch this. But I think we had a great conversation. Normally, I do end with a message to the youth. If y'all want to give a message to the youth, if you don't mind, from a standpoint of Gizzle, from the formerly incarcerated, and also from an attorney, if y'all don't mind speaking to the young dudes out here that's taking penitentiary chances, we want to make sure that we're course correcting them and tell them what they're giving up if they do have to go sit down and do time.
For me, it's pick up a book before you pick up a gun, some work, or anything. Pick up a book. It's too easy to absorb all this knowledge out here and become whatever you want. I mean, there's nothing out here in these streets no more unless you want to become a zombie. And zombies have no minds at all. You're just a walking dead cast. That's all you are, walking dead. So that means you're submitting to people that you don't even know walking their steps instead of becoming your own man. That's not the way. Whatever you want to do, go out there and do it. But pick up a book. Find somebody that you can entertain that'll give you the right information, because information is power.
There you go. That's real. And Larry, if you don't mind leaving them with something, again, young kids watching this, men and women, what, from an attorney standpoint, if you don't mind, speak to the youth as far as what they're giving up when they do have to, like you said, hear them doors clink and, not be free to see their mom, their children, their brother, their sister.
Take a breath. And sometimes, man, if situations get too hot, become silent and walk away. And it's ironic that today I was on a call with a guy who has sold and built 4 or 5 companies. He's worth probably around $600 million. And a lot of the millionaires I know only finished high school. They found something that they had a passion for, they read, and they worked at it, kind of like this podcast, right? They found something and they put the time and effort into it, and they did not allow anything to distract them. And so men and women, look, find that thing that you're passionate about, that you can also make legitimate money doing. And understand that this fast life, it always cracks me up, because I ask some of these guys how much money they make on a regular basis in a year. And a lot of times it's only like $40,000 or $50,000, right? Even some of my scammers. And the women that they're with and the men, none of y'all gonna look like that when you turn 40, because you're living too hard and you're too stressed because you're worried about going to jail, right? And so what good is all of that when it's all said and done? You're still not going to have anything. And chances are not even your freedom. So take a breath before you do those things. Get into your own understanding and just walk away.
Words to live by. With that being said,
and understand that a slow quarter beat a fast dollar.
Oh man, preach. That's real. With that being said, I would love to do this again one day, man. But thank you for the initial one. I'm glad to have gotten this in the bag. Larry Taylor, the real life lawyer. Ice Gizzle, Ice Style Gizzle. I appreciate y'all, man. This is Prison Stories 101, and we salute. Let's go.